Hello, you amazing friends. This is your pal, Edward here speaking. I'm with my old friend, Conrad Sampson, leadership expert and more. Conrad, thank you for joining us. And how are you today?
I am really feeling really good today, Ed, and thank you. I'm so honored that you've asked me to take part in your LinkedIn Live. That's pretty exciting.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I just want to say to anyone who's watching, I've got my phone right here. I'm actually going to be looking at your comments in real time through LinkedIn Live on my mobile phone. As well, my friends, if you are watching the recording or here live, smash that like, share, and comment and say hello. And here we go. I can already see us on LinkedIn Live on my mobile phone. Now, Conrad and I go back many years. Conrad's been a public servant for years. He's worked in Australian corporates, and he's a very savvy man. And Conrad is a leadership expert. Conrad, I want to ask you, tell us a bit about you. Tell us a bit about the adventures of Conrad and some of the crazy, awesome stuff you've learned over the years.
Oh yeah, thanks for that. Where do I start? So, well, I think perhaps what I'll start with is just give you a an overview. I've got about 30 years experience working in the IT industry, and I specialize in learning management systems. What is that? A learning management system? We're all familiar with. We've all been using it. It's pretty much an application that helps medium to large organizations manage their training programs and help to keep their people registered, qualified, certified, that sort of stuff. So I've been the past 30 years I've been employed by the New South Wales Police, working with Police Academy and.
So were you a cop, Conrad? Did you have like a gun and a badge? And did you say, put your hands behind your back? And did you arrest people, Conrad?
Oh, I wish I had that. No, but I was what they classed as an unsworn officer. Okay. I know.
Did you have a gun?
I hate it when people ask me this question, and I have to tell them exactly that. But anyway.
no, just a bit of humor for the audience. I know exactly that. I know exactly Conrad was an unsworn officer, but I always just like to say, whenever I speak to a public servant, it's like, oh, did they give you a gun, or did you at least have? So you didn't get a gun, unfortunately.
No, I didn't get a gun. However, I got pretty close because I, worked with a lot of the trainers, the weapons trainers, and all of these guys, and all our training professionals in every aspect. We've got a mini Air Force, a mini Navy, mini everything, and so I've had the privilege of working in the development space with all of them, and currently I'm doing consultancy with other large organizations in the LMS space, short for learning management systems. Yep.
Exactly. But I was going to say, I'm a huge fan of New South Wales Police. And if any of my friends from New South Wales Police are watching, we love you and keep up the great work. And all I can say is we love the thin blue line. So, Conrad, I want to talk to you about sort of leadership and culture. You're an amazing expert in this area, right? You work with a lot of organizations about leadership and culture and technology. And again, talking in generalities here, what are some of the biggest mistakes you've seen organizations make and some of the most smartest things they've done when it comes to leadership?
I think perhaps it's more with regard to our approach to the individual, and it just comes down to McGregor's theory X and theory Y. If we're familiar with that, and that's basically our approach to our management style and how we perceive our staff and our people and our team, and that makes a big difference with the whole culture.
So just on that one, I know theory. Explain to the audience, what is theory X and theory Y on management? I remember this from the 90s. Tell everyone what it is.
Okay, so essentially at a high level, theory X is where an organization or management, at the end of the day, the manager or the organization, we've got an objective, we've got deliverables, we've got things that we need to do, but how you actually approach your team to get the work done makes all the difference. So you've got two thoughts. One thought is theory X, where the staff member or the employee doesn't want to work, is not interested, and so you've just got to crack the whip, and you've got to manage, organize, schedule, constantly motivate, maybe punish, maybe reward, and that sort of stuff. But
So it's like working for Qantas, right? So basically working for Qantas. Well, okay, sorry, I didn't say Qantas. So it's not like working for Qantas.
That's right. And but theory wise is quite the opposite, which is quite modern, and it's the approach that I like, and I really thrive in that environment. That's where we sort of work with people with the assumption that, hey, I can bring the best out of these people if I can collaborate with them, and if I can help them to take ownership of what's happening, give them a bit of creativity, a bit of space, and not micromanage them, and still get the same results. So essentially, that's the difference. It's just our approach to employee boundaries, if you like.
So in a way, theory X is when you assume your employees are losers and you got to manage them and whip them, right? Basically, is the assumption.
Yeah, that's right.
Where theory Y is you assume your employees are winners, and if you help them out, they'll do a great job. So I suppose one's a pessimistic assumption of the world and one's a more optimistic assumption of the world.
Yeah, I'd say that. And I think, being around for all this time, working with different organizations, I can, and for myself, because, it's how would you like to be treated? How would you like, what kind of environment would you thrive in? Would you like your boss to be breathing down your back all the time? Or would you like to, your boss, let's say, to give you a brief, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you did it, but as long as you've done it and you've delivered it, yeah, tick in the box, everybody's happy, and we win.
So I suppose these days, we've seen a lot of it. We had the lockdowns, we've had a huge changes in workplace culture. You're seeing a lot of workplaces, and interesting, I was going to ask your thoughts on this one, right? And I know you like this one. Again, we've got to watch what we say. We are on live stream here. But I remember during the lockdowns, there's this whole working from home thing. Like, working from home is awesome. We value inclusion and workplace flexibility. Now, all of a sudden, all these big companies saying, hey, you can't work from home anymore. You get back into the office or you're fired. What do you think about this topic, Conrad?
That is pretty interesting. And, I'm not with New South Wales Police anymore, but when the pandemic first hit, I was with New South Wales Police. and that was a pretty interesting.
We love New South Wales Police.
We love New South Wales Police.
We love you, New South Wales Police. Don't arrest
boys and girls in blue, so to speak. And I'm a 100% supporter of New South Wales Police. But, having said that, being in IT and being with that organization for all those years, and we sort of said, hey, we can do, and this is before the pandemic, and we thought, hey, we can do a lot of our stuff because there's a lot of his thinking, reviewing, designing, working with systems, and we've got the technology. Let's, can we work from home? And it was a big no. But as soon as the pandemic hit, almost overnight, we were able to do that. And we were working like for months, working from home and everything. And as soon as the pandemic is basically lifted, there was, I guess there began to be a bit of an appetite to allow that. So currently, I believe that's what, I think they have a bit of a hybrid approach, where if you want to work from home, you can for but 2-3 days, and then 2-3 days in the office, and give them that flexibility, which is great, which is more on the theory Y side. Okay, so and you see that, well, the engine's still running, place isn't falling apart, and they're doing well.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I remember that as well. So pre-pandemic, everyone was saying, no, if you let employees work from home, they're just going to go to the beach, they're just going to sleep on their couch all day and watch YouTube, right? That's what people would say. But I think it worked. And I think it's interesting that, and I disagree with this, right? I think you're having a lot of companies. Now, I think hybrid's awesome. So I'm all for hybrid, right? But one thing I don't like is you got a lot of companies who are completely rolling back the working from home option, right? So the companies will sit there and pump out posts on how diverse and inclusive they are and how we value workplace flexibility. But the moment conditions change, they then all of a sudden throw D&I out of the window and workplace flexibility, right? I don't know. From that, I think working from home is a great model, and it's sad to see some of these corporations undo that a bit.
Yeah. My glasses seem to be a little bit
Did
off-sided.
you sit on them or something? Did you? Or is the frame
What
bent or something?
I must be putting my head away. What's interesting is in my last gig, I worked for a company called Andrew Gogic, and Andrew Gogic is a software provider, and they're premier providers in learning management software internationally. They've got presence in Singapore and Asia Pacific, and we were a 100% work from home organization. And initially I thought to myself, how is this going to work? But seeing it in action and working with the team, I think that was just brilliant. In fact, it showed, it really demonstrated the theory Y concept. It demonstrated collaboration. It demonstrated that all you need to do is give your employees. And when we talk about leadership here, that's what it's all about, is trusting and collaborating. And so we didn't have to be in the same room, but we needed to provide the infrastructure. And I think communication is a big key. So if we've got a good communications plan, and so the team, we pretty much met on a daily basis with a large team all over the world. We would clock in, and we'd have meetings and on demand, and wow, and it just worked like clockwork. And they've got major clients like government organizations, sporting industries, health, financial organizations, and they've done well.
Wow.
It's very possible.
Now, Conrad, I love where you're going and I love your thinking. I want to shift from talking about companies to now the individual, right?
Okay.
And I know you do a lot of coaching with companies and individuals. Now, when it comes to leading oneself, right? And this is the thing. One thing I've always believed is, how can you lead other people if you can't believe yourself? Interesting point, right? I've always thought that, right? Forgetting about other people for the moment, how do we motivate ourselves when we're feeling unmotivated? How do we take action when we're feeling fearful? How do we get ourselves going when we know we need to get going, but we don't feel like it? Love some of your thoughts on that one from an individual viewpoint, Conrad.
Interesting. I think the most important thing, and this is one of the things that that I speak a lot on, and I work with a lot of people on this particular element, and that is embracing destiny. Okay, and that is we all need to understand that we have a destiny. Okay, now and we're not going to reach our destiny if we don't actually get up and actually start that journey. So it's actually like if you're going to catch a plane, okay, you'll get your you've booked your ticket, but you need to get that boarding pass, and you actually need to get onto that plane. Okay, to fly to get to the other side.
So just on that, yeah. I'm having a shot at visualization here. So let's say I've booked my tickets. I'm Lassie. I'm booking tickets to go to Hong Kong via Cathay Pacific. So in other words, I booked my tickets. So I can't visualize flying to Hong Kong. I need to actually go to the airport, don't I? Continuing that analogy.
Absolutely. That's right. You need to be in it to win it. So you need to make that booking. You need to do all of those things, and you need to get your boarding pass, because a lot of times people buy the ticket, okay, but they don't actually take that final step to get the boarding pass. Is the one that's actually going to get you onto the plane. So you need to qualify yourself in that way, and finally get onto that plane. It's a journey. If every successful person, and everyone listening here, including yourself, Ed, I know, and myself, things don't happen automatically. They don't happen by chance. It's a lot of hard work. It's positioning yourself. It's the environment. It's who you surround yourself with. It's what you surround yourself with, and it's taking those small steps. But you need to make those steps towards your own destiny. It's what's in your heart. Your destiny is not what someone tells you. This is where you need to go. It's what's in your heart and where you know where you need to go.
It's funny you say that. I've had a lot. I get asked this at least twice a day these days. People will, be it people I know that well or people I just meet, people will ask me, Ed, how did you become so famous? Point one, I don't think I'm that famous, but they disagree with me, right? I think I need to be more famous. But a lot of people think I'm quite famous, right? And thank you for that. I appreciate that. I don't think so, but that's what they think. And then the second thing they said is, Ed, how did you become so famous? And the funny answer I give is exactly what you just said, because in terms of me becoming famous, for argument's sake, right? It's not like I went on TV or I starred in a film with Bruce Willis or anything that I became mega famous, right? My fame has come from just a million little steps. I've never had a big break. Never, ever had a big break. I want a big break. So if Bruce Willis is watching, I'll gladly co-star with you. Hey, Bruce, we love you, Bruce. We're bold men now. Conrad and I will co-star with you. But what I'm getting at there, hi, CJ people. But what I'm getting at, right, is that you're right. To me, you get the odd person who gets that huge gig, but to me, for 99.99% of us, our success is a million little steps. That sounds exactly reasonable, what you're saying, Conrad.
That's right. That's right. And a question that I keep that a lot of people ask me when we talk about and we're talking about leadership here today, along that same thought about leaders and how do you become a leader? Do you are you born a leader, or what happens? Yeah. It's a big topic, and there's so many levels to that.
So Conrad, are leaders born or created? I want your answer.
I think that there's both. Okay, it's a safe answer.
You're taking the fence sitting answer,
but I'll tell you why. I'll try and qualify that because
I agree with you. By the way, I actually agree with you.
Yeah, because some leaders are taught, and some leaders, if you like, they catch it. So in other words, you're born that way. You've got it in your heart. You're called. Okay, no, you don't need any training, and you're just a natural leader. And we've got a whole list of people who are natural leaders who've never been to college, university, or anything, but they can speak about anything.
And likewise, you've had people been in university for years, and they come out, they couldn't even lead their way into a McDonald's.
Exactly, and that's exactly my point. But for everyone else, and I'll have to say this for everyone that's on this channel right now, okay,
we love you.
That's right. We're all here, and we're talking about leadership, and that's the step, and these are the ones, including myself and you. We're willing to be taught. Okay, so a big element to leadership is teaching and teachability, I call it. Okay, you have to teach, but you also have to be teachable. Okay, so and some leaders, the natural leaders will take the meat and throw the bone. Okay, and the other kind of leaders will just write everything down and just follow it textbook style. Okay, but we can get great leaders on both sides, but I think at the end of the day, it's the results that matters. How are you leading your team? You've got a set of deliverables as a leader, as a manager, and what happens at the end of the day? You've achieved your deliverables or your outcomes, but how's your team? Have they arrived in one piece, or are they all have they got a victory chant? Do they hate you?
That's it. Do they like you?
That's right. Yeah, but for the ones who know that you've got your back, you've got their back. Okay, where you're inspiring them to make those to take those steps, and to collaborate, and to recognize them, and to give them that space, give them ownership, and help them take responsibility. They know that you're a leader who actually has their back, and your outcomes are better than simply ticking the box. And the next project, you're not going to get anybody because they've all left. They've gone on.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, actually, because I remember, we run a large, Lassie and I run a large business network. We deal with people all the time. We see great leaders and poor leaders. And remembering back to my more employee days, I remember my good bosses and my bad bosses. And it's interesting you say that, and I've never thought of this till you prompted me. If I think of all the good bosses I had and the bad bosses I had, I feel that the good bosses had my back where the bad bosses had their back. Now, what do you think of that observation?
Absolutely, but I think a lot of it comes, and you're right, you're absolutely right. And but the reason is because they've missed the plot. Okay, they're just looking at what they've got to deliver. Okay, the pressure from above. They've got limited resources. Every organization, every team has got limited resources. And their people are the most important resource. But so they're just focused on, hey, I've just got to get this truck out. I've got to get this, this whatever done, and their heads on the line. And so their approach is, if I don't crack the whip, someone else is going to crack the whip on me. It's going to be my head.
So if the manager's being whipped from above,
yep.
in a particular way, it's logic. I'm not saying it's right, or I'm not saying it's correct, or I endorse this, but if they're being whipped in a certain way, you would expect them to carry on that style of whipping.
And it becomes that's how you get corporate culture. You can go to some organizations and you'll see that that's the culture, the prevalent culture in that organization. But you'll find a lot of modern IT companies have changed that, like the one that I was with at Andrew Gogic. I can say that I'm very happy to say that, because the CEO, Alexander Roach, just absolutely was committed to believing and trusting everybody that we were the experts, and he would say, this is the project, this is the implementation, go do it. And we worked like clockwork. We knew who we had to deal with. Everybody, it was a respectful workplace culture, where just quickly, I'll just mention on that, Ed, if you don't mind, and that is with every team, everyone's equal. We all have different roles, okay, and it's important to respect that everybody has a different, regardless of your pay or your pay grade or whatever it is, but we all have a role and a responsibility, and we respect that. And if we can come to that point, if the leader can recognize that and clearly communicate that, hey, we're all in this together, except that we all have different roles, but we have this one outcome that we're headed towards. I think it'll create a much better workplace environment.
Oh, beautiful, Conrad. And we've got Alexandra Terry with us. Alexandra Terry is one of our wonderful friends from LinkedIn, and she's left some interesting commentary that I think we should discuss, and she makes some very good points. So I'll read it out. Alexandra Terry, we love you. Just come in as well. Smash that like, share, and comment. Come with Conrad. And by the way, if you are watching the recording of this, I love your work. So Alexandra Terry says this: I don't agree that leaders are born. They are probably raised in a different way, but we're not born as leaders. I believe environment, schools and parents and more has an impact on them. Personality traits we are born with definitely can be advantageous, but are we born leaders right away? And she thanks us for chatting around our topic. I think I kind of agree, actually, because I remember, I remember if in my childhood, right? So up until the age of 10, I had a very, very normal life. Well, as about 10 years old, I was, family fell apart. Mum almost died from cancer, and dad left. I was thrown into the foster system. And by the age of 12, I was actually leading groups of people, right? I was a 12-year-old leading people. And it's funny, in my own leadership journey, I was not born a leader, but the craziness in my life made me a leader. So could it be that it's not so much we're born leaders per se, but perhaps some of us have crazy experiences that make us into leaders? What do you think of that one, Conrad?
That's interesting, and I think I know where we're coming from, but I think with all those external factors, if you put two individuals, you'll find that one will actually thrive in that environment. Okay, they'll take it and they'll run with it. Okay, they'll take the opportunity, they'll take the doors that open and everything that's handed to them. They'll take the lifelines. And that's where I believe, the leaders who are born, they very quickly know how to see opportunity. They very quickly know how to actually exploit those things and go for it. But the other one, let's say, and this is not a negative. This is just a personality and a pathway to leadership. Let's put it that way. It's a pathway to leadership. There's some that can run with it naturally, okay, but there's some that after a while they realize, hang on a sec, this is not working for me. and I've been in the company for 5 years, 10 years. It's time for me to rise up. Okay, let me read this book on leadership. Let me do a leadership course. Let me start that journey. So there's different ways to get it, but what I'm saying is that there are some that really know how to actually exploit those opportunities when it comes their way.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's a fair comment. Like, yes, there's a whole debate on whether leaders are created or born. There's a whole debate there. But I think what is non-debatable is you'll just see some people that just instantly are brilliant leaders and some people that really struggle with it. That is absolutely valid, Conrad. Yeah, yep. I couldn't agree with you more. So that brings me to one of our closing thoughts. What are the traits that makes a great leader?
Oh,
Conrad.
That's an interesting one. It's something that I've always, used it as a guide for me. And just to answer your question, I'll get straight to it. And it's what I call the triple A factor. Okay, the triple A factor. And number one is ability. Okay, that you need to be able to gather as much. You need to be resourceful. You need to be equipped. You need to train yourself. You need to get all of those things to be able to have those, those tools, and to be able to function as that leader. Number two, you need to be available. It's no point having all those great, capabilities and all of that information and all of that in your head, and you're not actually availing yourself to the opportunities. So when the opportunity comes, you actually need to take it, and you need to actually apply those skills, I guess. And number three is attitude. I think attitude is probably the most important one. When you put the three together, you've got your great skill set, you've got your availability, you're making yourself available, you're positioning yourself, where you need to be able to thrive. And number three, to have a good attitude. I think if you put that together, that'll really make you an attitude, laterally and vertically, and everyone that you actually meet with, will definitely help you. That's a winning formula, I think.
Oh, Conrad, love your work. And I just want to say a big thank you now. Oh, and Alexandra Terry, we love you, Alexandra Terry. Amazing lady. Everyone connect with Alexandra Terry too. And
thank you
Alexandra Terry also says, forward thinking, big picture thinking, and also high emotional fitness and awareness to build strong relationships. Love your work. And attitude. We love you, Alexandra Terry. Now, Conrad, we're almost coming up to half an hour. And I just want to say a big thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man, and thank you to our viewers. Conrad, please tell us some closing thoughts. Love to hear some closing thoughts from you, and tell us how you can help people and how people can get into contact with you.
Okay, well, first of all, contact. Just remember, I've got on my screen wincoachingsolutions@gmail.com. Okay, and just remember that, and just send me an email, and let's link up with that one. There are 5 things that I just wanted to leave with you all. Okay, in terms of leadership. Number one is, when you're leading, it's important that we know that you've got a task, and you're going in that direction. You've got a destiny. You've got something to achieve and accomplish. But always remember to look behind to see if anybody's following you. Okay, that's number one. Number two, teach and teachability. I mentioned that just now. You need to be able to teach. Don't be insecure with your knowledge. I think as a team leader, it's important to train the successor, train your people, train your team. Okay, and at the same time, you need to make sure that you're actually learning as well. Be teachable, and always be willing to learn new concepts. Number 3, learn to empower your team, as I mentioned earlier. Believe in your team. Number 4, collaboration. Just I think it's important to have that collaborative environment. And number 5, as I mentioned, that all your team members are equal. So roles, responsibilities, everyone's equal. We've all got the same objective. And yeah, that's pretty much it. 5 tips.
Oh, there you go. I got some veteran humor as well. I got to censor this a lot. One of my friends from America, John Kirkhoff, he's actually a drill sergeant from the army. So literally, veteran, retired drill sergeant, great guy. John Kirkhoff, he shared this funny post about racism and the U.S. Marines, and it had this meme saying basically, it had a white person, a black person, basically holding signs saying, "Is one person better than the other?" Then it had a screenshot from the film Full Metal Jacket with the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket going, "No, you're all equally worthless pieces of you know what." So I thought that was really, really good. So
Wow. If I can just you asked me, and I forgot to mention if yeah, that's great. I live in the southwest of Sydney, so if anybody is in Sydney, okay, I'm planning to have a focused leadership session on the, I'm looking at my date here, on Wednesday, the 29th of November. It's on a Wednesday, 29th of November. So if you're keen, it's free of charge. Just drop me an email at Win Coaching Solutions.
And can people add you on LinkedIn too? Can people add you on LinkedIn too?
Oh yeah, LinkedIn. Go for
LinkedIn.
it. But I need to say not on Facebook. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll leave that for all my comments. So I don't want you to see my comments because when I'm fighting with strangers. But yeah, so LinkedIn, I'll try and be a bit more professional there.
Don't stay off Conrad's Facebook, not PC. LinkedIn number one. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you so much for that. Really honored.
Thank you. And I just want to say a big thank you to our viewers. Alexandra Terry, you are a powerful lady. We love you, Alexandra Terry. And also too as well. Friends, please like, share, comment, reach out to Conrad and myself. And I was going to say, Conrad, I'll be back for more live streams. Conrad, you are an amazing man. I know you're so busy. I better let you get back to your work. Thank you again, Conrad. We appreciate you big time.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Ed. See you all then. Bye-bye.
Hey.